What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Art Adventures. All right, guys, so for the last couple of videos that I've made some different castle drawings. I did some in my sketchbook, made a video on that, just kind of sketching out some ideas. And then this one that I recorded and I just posted yesterday, I thought came out pretty good. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and get a second drawing done here, and it's gonna be a lot more simple. Just like we started off yesterday, you're gonna start about 2 inches above your pencil. I don't know why I started this in pencil, but anyways. All right, just like we started yesterday, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves a 2-inch wide little hill going off in the front. It doesn't have to be a perfect line. Mine's a little curved and it's also a little bit wavy. We are going to give ourselves about a 3-inch height on this, and the same thing, about 4 inches here, or 4 fingers here. That means about 4 fingers here. So I'm gonna start right around here. Now remember, yesterday I also said that your lines are not gonna be completely parallel. They're gonna be slightly tilted, slightly slanted out to where the top is a little wider than the bottom. It's just gonna give us a little different of a look. It's not gonna be a perfect drawing. It's not gonna be a perfect castle. We're gonna give ourselves an overhang, so about 1/4 of an inch of an overhang here, and 1/4 inch of overhang there. And once you're done with that, you are going to take that overhang, bring it up, take that overhang, bring it up about 1 inch each. And then if you remember the method that I did in yesterday's video, you're going from left to right to left to right to left to right to left to right until you meet yourself in the middle. It's gonna give you kind of the most accurate display of bricks, kind of hide the archers and protect the archers as a decoy. They can go behind the taller ones and pop out through the shorter ones. That's what these are for. It's a defense mechanism. So we're going to try our best to make these as even as possible. So this is the same width as this, and so on. Don't rush this. It might take a little while to get that done. Don't rush the step because it will not look as good as if you take your time. If you take your time, you're gonna come out with a way better result. All right, so this castle is gonna be so much easier than the one that we did prior. We're gonna start off with the exact same kind of style as far as the bottom base goes, and then this top tier. Only difference is yesterday we turned that into a steeple, and for this one we're gonna do the same exact brick pattern. Okay, overhang about 1/4 of an inch, overhang about 1/4 of an inch, bring that up about 1 inch, bring that up about 1 inch, and then you're gonna continue that brick pattern until you meet yourself in the middle. All right, and the very last detail on the top of this is you're gonna do a very basic line, a little ball, and then yourself a wavy line like this. Boom, in, out, and in like that. And that is it for the top of your castle. On top of here, you're going to do a arc. Boom, and that's gonna be your window. You're gonna make yourselves a door, also gonna be an arc. If you want it to be a rectangle, that's completely fine. It's your castle, you draw whatever you want. I'm also going to make my windows on this side and on this side. They're going to be the crosses that we did in the small detail, but I am going to try my very best to do this in Sharpie and get a nice, even cross, thick enough to where I can color it when I'm finished. And so I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do my very best, but this is a tricky thing to do. Let's extend that just a tiny bit more. All right, boom, that's a pretty good one. Now here's the tricky part. I got to match this on this side, so take your time. If you just want to do what I did yesterday and kind of just color them in where it doesn't really matter, you can always tweak it. This one I'm leaving it open so that I can go ahead and color it in. All right, that's pretty good. So your last little detail is gonna be your door handle, okay? One thing I did miss on yesterday's drawing, which I do slightly regret, is the wood panel that goes across before we put our wood panels, our slats that go up. Alrighty, and that is already looking better. Since this castle is so much simpler and so kind of basic, we're gonna do a little bit more detail on the outside skirts of this castle, one of them being a bush. And so your bushes, they can kind of look however you want, but I like to go a little bit more random as far as the kind of curved shapes go. It gives it a little bit more of a realistic look. It's going to give it a little bit more realistic look. And then you put these little M's and N shapes, kind of give it some branches, give it a couple little notches with N's and M's, and that makes it look like leaves. Now, since we're done with our bush, let's go ahead and give ourselves our pathway. Remember, it's going to be like a rock stubble kind of pathway, so we're going to make it not a straight line. It also is going to come out and come out to give you guys more detail on depth. And then we're going to continue those little lumps like this that are leaves here, but over here on this side, it's going to look a little bit more like some little stones every now and then, and they might get a little bit bigger as they get closer. But it's gonna look pretty good once you finish off the actual coloring. Same thing with the grass. I'm gonna go ahead and finish those. All right, and now since we are done, okay guys, so now since we are done with our foreground, a little bit of a midground here, we're gonna give a background, and the background's gonna be very simple. It's going to be a sun. I'm gonna do a single sun here. Yesterday we decided to go a little bit adventurous and kind of want to do a little Tatooine double sun on that one, just because I've never done it on this channel, and I love Star Wars. Anyways, so the sun that I'm doing, I've done a little tutorial on a bunch of different methods of how to draw suns, and this is one of my favorite ones. It's very stylized, obviously, as you can see, but you do a circle and then you attach these little tiny triangles as your sun rays. Now, they're not touching the sun, they're kind of out on the outskirts of it, but it looks really good, especially when you color it. All right, next thing is now we're done with the sun. I wanna go ahead and get a little bit more stylized as well on this one. Yes, we're doing one sun, but over here, we're gonna do a moon. I'll show you guys how to do a really cool moon. It's very simple. You pretty much draw a C, but it's gotta be a pretty good size C, all right? Leave a close opening, and then you're going to really do this fat moon that gives you guys a little bit more room to color it, draw it how you want, so on and so forth. But it looks pretty good. And now, another tricky one, just like these crosses, I'm gonna give myself a couple of little stars. And these little stars are going to be tricky. Permanent marker, not the best thing to be drawing stars with, but I've found a little bit of a method on how to draw stars pretty well with one go and not being doing the whole little don't pick your pencil up gesture drawing. So anyways, you're gonna do a like a little arrow on the top, like an upside down V, and then a straight line, and then you're going to bring that in at a 45-degree angle, bring that in at a 45-degree angle. Then you kind of follow this line here down, okay? Same thing, kind of follow that line down a little bit, and then boop, give yourself a little dot. That's gonna be like a reference point. You don't have to do that, but it comes out pretty decent. Alrighty, and let's do our very, very, very last detail. I want to give the proper setting for daytime, but also nighttime. And I thought the best way to do this is so that I'm not coloring this entire scene one color or doing a fade that would take a long time and all that. I'm gonna give myself my geometric shape as I usually give my drawings. And so I'm gonna give myself a geometric shape, and then I'm gonna do daylight on the middle, and then on the outside of that geometric shape, I'm gonna do nighttime. All right, guys, so I'm here at my second studio setup, and as I left off last night on this drawing, knowing that I was gonna color it with the crayons that I have at my second studio, I wanted to go ahead and transfer this over, and I noticed I forgot one step. We're gonna give ourselves some stones, okay? And so just like our other video, we're gonna sporadically put some different shapes and sizes as far as ovals go. They're irregular shaped. They don't have to be perfect, but they are little stones that you need to put in different places to give yourself a little bit of detail on how the construction of your castle is. It doesn't have to be as exactly like mine. And one thing I don't want to see a lot of people do is put a bunch of little tiny circles all over to where it just looks like you put a bunch of circles inside of your castle. If this step is unnecessary for you, that's okay. You don't have to do it. You can do it a different way. Also, if you'd like to do a brick pattern where you're doing horizontal lines and then staggering like we did on the steeple, you could do that there as well. So I'm gonna leave this like this, and I'm gonna get that one done as well and speed this up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this colored. All right, guys, so I'm doing a lot of different little techniques and methods to get this colored the way that I would like for it to be colored. Now, when it comes to the foreground of being the grass, the gravel road, and the other grass part, I wanted to do a couple of different styles, a couple of different methods to see if it'll work and what would look the best. What I've come to terms with is you're taking a dark green, and you're gonna go over the backside, like the top, almost like if there's a shadow coming up this way, of each one of your grass little details that you've drawn. And that's literally it. You're just doing that for now with the green, the dark green, okay? And then you're going to give it a complete surface cover. I'll do one side and then I'll do the other, so I can speed one side of it up, but I wanna show you guys what I'm doing. So that if you want to do the same method as what I did, then you can go ahead and copy that method. All right, so now that I have all of these done, now I'm gonna go with a lighter green. This is a yellow green, and I'm going to literally cover the entire grass area. And that is going to give a little bit of a variation in greens. And you'll see a little bit more detail when you are looking at the complete picture, because you have shadows, you have highlights, you have the full flat part of your green shade, so on and so forth. And then I will go ahead and take a light tan, and I will color over the top of this. Now to hit it with the tan, give that last final coat. All right, so now that you see you have 3 different colors in here, it's gonna make it look a lot more realistic. It's not gonna be like these blaring bright green colors that you see in most artwork, including mine. But this is gonna give it a lot better of a shade of green that's a little bit more realistic. I love this method. It's pretty much the same method that I used on the stones, which have that tan undertone and then a gray, the same gray that I have here on top. Same thing that I did here, where I did the gray and then I went on top with the black to give it its own variation of color and some detail. And I'll do the same thing here with this light tan, and then I go over with the same brown that I did for the door, and it gives it some more detail. All right, guys, I'm really excited for this next step. I'm going to do the outside border nighttime, and I'm doing it with a purple, but I'm also gonna give it a darker purple overlay. And I love the way that the purples complement the yellows, from the stars to the windows to the sun. And then on the inside, I'm gonna do a lighter blue, and it's gonna give it a really good complement. All right, guys, well, there you go. There you have it. Completed the second castle of this castle series that we're doing. This one's obviously a lot easier, but I really loved the background and the detail that we got inside of all of this. So yeah, if you like this style, go ahead and keep watching. I'll be posting more videos like these. The next castle that I will be doing is gonna be a lot more detailed than this, and it'll be even more detailed than the first video that came out. So stay tuned. That one's gonna be really fun, but more of an advanced level. So I'll look forward to posting it. I'll look forward to hearing your guys' comments. Check it out and keep watching. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.